Hi, this is Steele here. We're talking about my new album, You and I at the End of the World. This current heat wave I have, and it kind of feels like it could be the end of the world, doesn't it? We are going to talk about a song that Joe Matera and I wrote. Joe Matera is an Australian journalist, come songwriter, singer, performer, and he co-wrote a few things with the Corgis, notably very first one, Always a Sunny Day, which was a rather brilliant song, I thought, Always a Sunny Day. And then we followed with Letter to Geelong. We had #1 in the Heritage chart with Letter to Geelong. That was another goodie. And then the last co-write we did was Red Flag Day, about forest fires, about the heat waves that we've been having all over the world. So it's all following in. When Joe was across in 2025, him and I got together and I said, Joe, remember you sent me a little guitar thing? Maybe we should work on it together. I don't think we had very long. I think it was just before we were going to a Corgis gig, because he joined us at a Corgis gig in Hungerford, I think it was. Anyway, we had a little bit of time to do it. And we talked about maybe what the song could be. We worked on it a little bit musically. But anyway, it starts like this, and it's very odd. He used a cap on 2nd fret. And it basically goes, so it's in F sharp minor, but he's playing it in E minor, and then it's more or less a G with a D bass, and then a C 6th, and then an A minor 7th. He just had initially two guitars. One did, and then, excuse my slight out of tuneness, but the way that it sounds with the chords is whoops, I'll do that again. So it's a really kind of hazy kind of sound. I mean, as a lot of Joe's stuff is. I mean, Always a Sunny Day was built on these fourths, all kind of a bit odd. And the same with Red Flag Day. So he kind of likes those kind of odd intervals. And so we worked on this. We went, well, what could it be about? And maybe I came up with the idea that it could be called Listen. Listen. That ding ding. Ding ding, ding ding, ding ding. I thought, listen, 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 listen. Well, obviously couldn't just do that for the whole thing. That would be a bit boring. So we hammered out this, listen, listen, listen to the sound of the planet creaking. Listen, listen. Can you hear your ancestors speaking? And so we went, okay, well, that's quite good. That's a ecology kind of song. And, learning lessons from the past, the people who came before us, who worked the land, they went to bed when the sun went down, they got up when the sun rose, all those things that we don't do anymore. They worked the land, they ate the food that they grew on the land, they killed the animals that are going to kill them, they ate them. All these things that we don't do anymore, we just go to the supermarket and we take it all for granted, this whole world without. And I think there's something can be learned. I mean, a lot of people are going, okay, organic, I'm going to be veggie now, etc. There's a lot of change going on in people's minds and thinking about these things. So this seemed like a song that was like that. We got a little bit of other things into the verses, but the very interesting thing about this is it's a duet. So I sing a line, Joe sings a line, I sing a line, and we overlap as well. So I can't really sing it properly to you, but of course you can hear the recorded version of it. So you've already had the chorus. That's how the chorus goes. And then we hit, okay, so what do we do after we do listen, listen? Can you hear your ancestors speaking? I thought, now day see, now day looks like night. And he comes in, dare we open the door? Can't climb to the light anymore through the rush and the noise. I won't be able to hear your voice till I learn to listen, listen, etc. There's a whole analysis of the lyrics up, or rather, it doesn't take much analysis. It's very straightforward. There's not too many surprises in it. The surprise is more musically of all of those overlaps and how we hit the word anymore at the same time. Learn to, we hit at the same time. So all of those kind of tricks are in here. So between them, so those chords there, in case you want to know, with a capo on anyway, a C add 9, G with a B bass, C add 9, T. Very country chords. That's D, she with a D, D7th. It's a particular inversion of it that I quite like. So we did that. We had hammered out the words between us, certainly of that first verse. So we had a whole first verse on that few hours that we worked on this. And it was like, okay, well, we know we're going to have a second verse. So what's going to happen after that? We went second verse, second chorus. Also, this was going to start with a chorus. So that throws up its own issues, and the fact that you go chorus, verse, and then do you just go straight for another choruses? Yeah, 3 choruses in a row. So I think what we aimed for, what we plumbed for at that point, was doing a guitar solo over chorus 3. That made a little bit more sense, but we always knew that there had to be a departure in there. So after you've got your listen, da, 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 I thought a nice thing there, and there is this note in common with this chord. We go to so F to E minor, really. A useful change. Stay on the G. Go to F sharp minor. We've moved it all up a tone, really. And then we went down to E, which leads back to listen. So that's good. So it was quite an easy change to make. And over the top of that, Joe put some really lovely slide guitar going, and he found lovely intervals that he did. He sent that over to me from Australia because by this time, of course, he'd gone back. I'd sent him what I'd been working on, and then he sent more guitar parts through, and his vocals as well. He sent his vocals through. So I want to go back to that middle 8 because it's an instrumental middle 8. But it is still a middle 8. It's a departure. So instead of just F to E minor, of course, we're changing it slightly. I'm going F add 9. So it's a little more hazy again. And then to G add 9 with an E bass, which is an E minor 11th. But you get that kind of sound. So if I can play it right. Change to a G, but still add 9. A add 9 with an F sharp bass, which is an F sharp minor 11th. Can't play it. I played this on piano. That's why it's quite hard to play. And then that leads. A lot of notes in common with E suspended, which will then lead back to etc. So there we are, middle 8, and that's what happened. We did the middle 8 section. Joe put his guitars on, and then we came back into a breakdown chorus. Again, we didn't want to come back into a straight chorus because it would feel like it was water we'd already treaded. So we came to a much more breakdown one, and gradually built up through the thing, and the guitar solos came in, all of the voices came back in. And right at the end, it just cuts to a sudden which is supposed to be your ancestors speaking, as the lyrics say. So it kind of tied it all in. When Joe, it's quite interesting, and when Joe played his slide guitar, it all of a sudden to me brought a watery feel to it. And so we revisited this song when he came back. When he came back earlier this year. So he was here in 2025 and he came back here this year and he played on my gig at Chapel Arts. So we had another chance to look at this. I mean, I think most of it had already been done. I don't think we did any more recording, but what we did do is we did video. So we now have a full video of this, and Joe or I are on that with a whole load of other stuff in the background. But when we hit that middle section, I kind of just had sea and whales and under the water and above the water. And I kind of kept that watery feel. Joe wasn't too keen. It was like, what you got against whales, Joe? You know, what have they ever done to you? But he just didn't like so much of it. But when he put us over the top with the guitars and stuff that we were playing, he was fine. He said, it's perfect now. It's perfect. Well, I don't think anything's ever perfect, but it's a good video. It works pretty well. So the video is up on YouTube, or I'll make sure it's up on YouTube at the time you will see this. And so really, that's the story of it. We have then been waiting since the beginning of this year. The original intention was to release it when he was across here. But we didn't have the video for it, and I just felt we were underprepared. I said, Joe, let's just wait until it's ready. So this single is just about to be released. Of course, this is on the new album as well. It fits in with the global perspective of everything. Joe was cool with that as well. So there are a few co-writes on this album. That's that's becoming a little more evident. There's a co-write with Paul Griffin called Still Here at the End, Still Here at the Break of Day. There's a co-write with Danielle, this is very interesting, called Never Ending Twilight, which is a title that I came up with when we were in Finland, where we really did have never ending twilight. We didn't have any night, but I thought it was a great title. So, her and I are just finishing off that as we speak. So you'll hear that pretty soon. So, there we are. There's the story of Joe. The video is now done, so we're just about to release as a single, which is why this one is coming at you right now. I hope you've enjoyed that little kind of overview of how that song came about. And there'll probably be a little bit of other supporting stuff up there around it. There we are. Thanks for listening.